Oh, wait. What if it started like this?
Yeah, you can say we're making movies. They're not exactly in production. Too soon to say that they're in pre-production. We like to think that they're in pre-production.
With jentnerparke,
The pre-production podcast.
it's a surefire hit. Yeah, and then you just kind of fade.
That's right, boys and girls. It's the pre-production podcast. The podcast that shoves you in a chair and forces you to listen to the creative process in the writer's room as they create movies, TV shows, drama, comedy, live and without a net. Dangerous. Why? They're not sure why, but one thing is certain. They have a lot of fun doing this, and so will you. They're waiting for you right now in the writer's room. Your hosts, Bernard Jentner and Darren Parke. You and I have known each other a long time.
Long time. I would have been in the neighborhood of 22 when we met. Is that right?
Oh my God, that's like over 20 years.
24 years.
Okay, so
Might have been 23.
in this time that we've known each other, friends of mine have moved away and become very successful in a traditional sense. I feel like you and I are still struggling in the same income bracket. Yeah,
We share that.
but one thing that we have no shortage of is good ideas. Perhaps the amount of time we put into creating and generating ideas is taking away from the time we need to execute some of them. But you had the brilliant idea of discussing these ideas as the thing that matters most. It's not how much you execute and how much time you put into chasing ideas. You figured out a way to monetize, let's say, the ideas themselves and creating them over and over and over again. And that's what this podcast is about. I think there's room also for us to generate new ideas as we make this podcast happen. There'll be no shortage of big ideas. And for those listening, if you're struggling with big ideas, we have more than we know what to do with. So there's gold here. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're an author, if you're a YouTuber, a musician, there's something here for everyone. And we don't know what to do with this stuff. It's garbage to us. So
It could potentially be garbage. We're trying to make it not garbage.
No. Yeah, I meant that. It's garbage the way $1 is garbage to a billionaire, right? It's still money.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So garbage, that was a strong word. Perhaps offensive. I don't want you thinking you're sifting through our trash. It's gold.
Yeah.
They're so good. We want to act on them. We want to make them all real, but I don't know. There's something.
It's unrealistic to think that every one of these ideas is going to come to fruition.
You say that
Not when ideas come as quick and fast as they do.
exactly. Logically, yes, they can't all succeed because we're not going to pursue them all. But if millions of people were listening and they were to pursue them on our behalf,
They could find the idea that works for them.
that's right. Yeah. And maybe you don't take it word for word, because if you do, that's plagiarism, and we'll come after you. And
We will destroy you.
like, you're welcome to listen and to have some fun and be influenced by this process of generating ideas, but you certainly can't profit from them. No.
Unless you cut us in handsomely.
True. Well, we can sort that out later. Anyway, so that was one of the notes I had. And so what do you think about that?
Well, yeah, we didn't address the words. So mourning and celebrating.
Yeah.
You take these ideas that were they're like your children. In the hours or days or weeks that you were obsessing and thinking about these ideas, they're very much real. You're creating a reality in your head where your future includes the execution of these ideas, and you're pouring yourself into them, and they're precious.
They are, absolutely. And I think that's something I think that we have in common as friends, and having discussed a lot of these ideas and gotten some projects off the ground. And over the next few episodes, we'll talk about some of them. But when you say that, when you talk about how much energy you pour into it, there's a weird thing that happens with time. Time gets really compressed. And we can almost, I feel like I can project myself into the future where the idea has been executed, completed, and it's done. Mm-hmm. And I'm already bored of it. I'm just like...
That is one of the problems of having too many great ideas.
Yeah. right? It's like, I've already accomplished this. And there's a trope about this, like the genius who ends up pumping gas because they can imagine all possible futures, and like there's no point in pursuing a PhD, and there's no point in becoming famous because it all leads to the same misery, and so they're just very content pumping gas, even though their IQs are 180 or some shit like that. Have you ever heard that story?
I've heard stuff like that.
Yeah. So, why did I say that? Are we like that to some degree? Yes, perhaps. So
are we geniuses pumping gas? In a sense.
Yes, in a sense. Yeah, in a sense. So sometimes people just have one idea. Like when they're 18.
Bless those people. Because those are the ones that can succeed.
But they don't always. Sometimes they're like, I'm going to be in a band. And you've met 50-year-old, 60-year-old dudes who've never got a band off the ground, you know? You've met these people.
I have. Yeah.
Right? We all have. And people who just, they kind of, what I think the mistake they make is they tie up one idea with their character. And they think, this idea is me. If I'm not a guy pursuing a band after work every day, then I'm nobody, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I can definitely get that.
There's a little bit too much. They get too caught up in the ideas. Ideas are, I think you agree when I say that, at some point like when I was young, I have tons of notebooks in that folder, in that cabinet back there of like, when I was younger, I'd get these ideas and write them down because every single one was precious. Like, holy shit, I'm going to forget this if I don't write it down.
You didn't realize that this tap doesn't shut off.
It doesn't shut off.
The ideas, these wonderful $1 million ideas, are almost so numerous that they become worthless.
Yeah. Sort of like the Spanish doubloon at the height of the Spanish Empire. There was so much gold it became worthless.
Inflation.
Yeah. It is idea inflation. So that's why we need to discuss these things, because they're still good. And yes, when you think of, for example, a book idea. Lately, I've been trying to write a book, and I'm going through different ideas about what it takes to write a book. And, I would love to write them all, but I don't have, if one book takes like 6 months to a year, I don't have time to write 100 books in my lifetime, probably, right?
Never.
You got to like pick and choose which ones you're going to put your time into. But I would love to revisit some of these various ideas that we've had over the years and talk about why they would have been great ideas to execute to completion, but we don't have that kind of time.
They deserve their moment in the sun.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to compress this time. We're going to use this podcast to like bring people on that journey from inception to implementation to all the problems. And then
I guess in a way we're eulogizing these ideas.
There's a religious quality to what we're doing. Yeah.
Might be something there.
We're
doing a celebration of idea life.
Yeah, I like it.
There's a funeral tone to this whole thing, isn't there?
A little bit.
Let's not focus on the funeral tone.
It's more like a wake, though. I think it's a celebratory tone.
A celebration of life, but for ideas.
Yeah. If the idea is good enough, I don't know, we push a button here on our console, and then we'll flesh out a really cool radio play version of the idea. You like this?
Yeah, just do a snippet of it to kind of show what the idea could have been.
Yeah.
In some form or another, probably a lesson form, but something just to give you a sniff of it.
I like the idea of a little bit of some sound effects, maybe some footsteps, some wind. If the story happens to be outside, what do you think? Is that too much production?
I think a little bit of production could be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Maybe
gunshots.
Maybe we should watch a YouTube video on those old radio sound effects artists, and we could do it live. Except what we're actually going to be doing is getting a theater troupe to put it on.
That'd be even better. Yeah, that's the idea, right? We'll get some actors to read the parts. It shouldn't be us.
Well, I mean, it should be professional actors.
Yeah, I can't see there being any other way. Okay.
Not if we want to do it right.
No, you got to do it right. I mean, first and foremost in my mind is if there's anyone listening to this at all, I want them to enjoy it. Is that too high of a bar? I don't know. I feel like we should have
Are we really meant to enjoy this type of a wake? I'm sorry, you if anyone is listening to this, then you are here to mourn with us. No, of course not. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's not just a podcast. We're going to live the life. Yeah, I think we're on the same page. I forgot why I wrote that down. We have so many ideas, it's hard to catch them all. Okay.
Wait, we should do a podcast about that.
Let's forget this podcast. Let's do that one.
Let's do a podcast about too many ideas.
Okay, and then I made a note of, like, you were reading out some ideas the other day when we were having our little meeting before this, and I wrote down the ones that jumped out at me. I don't know why. I just wrote them down. And the monk crime genius one, that one we've discussed a few times. This is a rather fresh one, too, probably within the year.
Yeah, maybe a year and a half.
I do have some notes. So there's going to be...
You've got the notes from this?
Yeah, I'm going to pull them up and see if it makes any sense.
Well, you start pulling those up. Maybe I'll lay a little bit of groundwork here.
You should, yeah.
Like I say, my tastes become stupider as I get older because I appreciate stupidity. Mm-hmm. You know, not exclusively, but it's one of the things I appreciate. And one of the things that I really find myself enjoying is when I can find usually a crime-solving drama where the smartest person in the room gets to flex their muscles and show how much better they are than everyone around them, but they secretly have a problem that makes their life a tragedy. And you can come up with many ideas of it, and there's many examples of it. Like, it's so basic, but I love House. I love Monk.
Yeah.
Me and my wife, our tastes overlap in that arena, so it ends up being one of the things we watch. I have these interests, she has these. Our overlap often includes things where a genius is solving crimes and making the people around him look like fools, but he's also a little sad.
I like the Monk and what was the other one? House? To me, those are, and I think you're the one who pointed this out to me when we were first talking about this idea. Mm-hmm. They're variations on the Sherlock
Holmes.
Yeah. Because the detective is a doctor. The mystery is the disease. It all makes sense to me now.
And it was right there in the text, but I've heard since then that probably that idea of the flawed Sherlock Holmes, it probably wasn't like as much in the original text. It wasn't like this modern idea of the flawed hero who's troubled, or
he was a heroin addict, so yeah.
But was that like you've read them? I've read a bit of them here and there.
Yeah.
But was it ever like, oh, here's sad Sherlock Holmes?
I think there was a little of that.
Is that subtext? Is that modern subtext, or was it there?
So in the first version, there was none of that. And then he met Oscar Wilde at a dinner party, who told him he loved that first book, but it needed XYZ. And then the very next one starts with him, needle in his arm, ultra depressed because he doesn't have anything to put his mind towards. He's like, when he doesn't have a case. I have read these, and they don't come to mind as easily. But mm-hmm. I thought I had heard otherwise. But you're right; it's right there in the text. The entire map is right there. But it's only at the beginning, like, and then as soon as he has a case, he's fine. And Watson's describing all this, and he's like, it's amazing how, like, if he doesn't have a case, he's a junkie, and as soon as he has a case, he's fine. And they don't mention it in the rest of the story. And then the story, there's a mystery, and then it ends. And so it's very, like, it's a really weird beginning because it just hangs there. It doesn't seem to be attached. But it's a thread that he keeps bringing in the later stories. But
the key thing for me, the thing that brings me often the most enjoyment, mm-hmm. I don't like it when they don't focus enough on the thing that is sad in their life. There's something about that brings me back to them, because otherwise you just have an insufferable blowhard. you know? So it's like the sadness is an important part. The Mentalist is a pretty good series, and he's got his sadness, but it's not as good as a Monk or a House, where the sadness is on, right on Front Street. It's very inherent in just about every episode that Monk can't exist in the world well. He needs an assistant to even exist. And House, of course, is a tragedy the whole way through. He's constantly ruining his life based on drugs and personality issues. And
but he's
when
always,
I was
but
coming up with
he's always killing it at work, though, right?
Exactly, because he's an unmatched genius.
Yeah.
And that's the part of it that it's very compelling to think about being that person with all these problems, but you get them in the right situation, and they are extraordinary. They can do things that will shock everyone around them with their brilliance.
Yeah. He's got a real, what's the technical term for that? Domain dependence. He's only a genius in certain domains, and everywhere else he's not. And you see that, what do they call that? They call that epistemic crowding is a new term I heard on some podcast the other day. an economics one actually, and you get those guys on TV who are like an expert. You know, they say, "Oh, this so and so is a doctor, and he's going to come give us our opinion about." There's something about people who overstep the boundaries of their genius, and they're just like everybody else when they do that. That is a super, like, you've just laid the groundwork for how this next idea.
I'm just reading the notes right now and becoming more familiar with my own the idea that we kind of both did a little work on. I think I took a lot of the lead on some of the beginnings of this.
Let me allow me, if I may. I'd like to read the log line really dramatically, and if you want to come in dry and read that synopsis there, that right underneath.
Sure.
The idea of this was, I heard something on the radio that the CBC doesn't have enough television shows, and I was like, you know what? Let's make a television show, because that'll be an easy way to make money.
Do you remember the week later we got together and I came in with five pretty well fleshed out ideas?
They're right here. We can go through them all, actually.
And then we iterated on a few of those ideas to about 10 more ideas, because that's a strength of ours, is refining and iterating on prompts and ideas.
Let's pretend there's no title of this, because I don't remember. Let's come up with a new title. But I'm just going to read.
I don't know if we ever settled on that title. It was more of a thing to remind us of what we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just going to read the log line. So here we go. Dramatic reading. A brilliant yet emotionally unstable detective with a hypersensitivity disorder teams up with her methodological.
Start from the beginning.
Yeah, we'll get that in the end. A brilliant yet emotionally unstable detective with a hypersensitivity disorder teams up with her
Would you like me to
methodical?
do it?
Methodical. Oh my God. Let me try that again. A brilliant yet emotionally unstable detective with hypersensitivity disorder teams up with her methodical but less gifted sister to solve the toughest case in the city, relying on each other's strengths and weaknesses. Now, already I don't remember this, but I would like you to read the synopsis here. Maybe I might have queued up the wrong story.
The synopsis here is... I'm going to read the synopsis first, but there is some things to say about some of the beats of this.
Yep.
Okay, so the story centers around two sisters. One is a highly competent but emotionally detached detective, and the other is a genius burdened by extreme hypersensitivity and emotional instability. The emotionally volatile sister can solve complex cases with ease, but only when she is able to focus, which is a constant struggle. The show balances the drama of solving crimes with the sister's attempts to manage their relationship and the sister's condition. Now, you left out a key point of this.
I remember now, yeah.
Is that in order to make this genius the most tragic genius of all time, the hypersensitivity disorder is personified in the fact that she is covered in burns.
Right.
She was a burn victim,
and that's why she has to attend to her so often. She's barely alive.
Like, this person doesn't come out and do things. When you start this show, it's the sister is a detective. She's pretty darn good. She's methodical. She's detached. She is at work, doing really good, brilliant work, but she's being held back by something. And you have the other characters in the show talk about that, and how, like, with her skills, she should be.
She should have made chief by now.
She should have made chief, or she should have been into this unit or that unit, or she should be leading this or that.
It's a shame she left her career at the FBI.
Yeah, but what she doesn't do is put in the time. And what we find out is that's because
she's taking
the time
care of her
she puts in is in taking care of her sister.
Wait.
Who should I just say it?
Wait, just before you do that, to keep things clear in the listener's mind, these sisters, we keep using the word sister. I think they need different names. So the detective, can we just call her?
Do you want to just come up with names on the fly here so that we can talk about them? Okay, we want the last name for the detective. Detective Smith and Nancy Smith. Nancy is the troubled genius sister,
yes.
And Detective Smith is the detective.
Nancy.
Maybe we'll come up with the first name.
You were about to drop the hammer, though, on why Nancy's at home.
So
trapped.
Her sister is constantly there tending to her,
yeah.
because she has such sensitivity disorders, probably some of it from trauma, mental, probably some of it from the physical trauma. She mostly lives in a sensory deprivation room, possibly a sensory deprivation tank for many hours a day, because moving and interacting in the world is physical and emotional torture for her.
Oof.
She can't leave the place. She can't do anything. She's a genius. She sits in there and she reads when she can stand to be out of her sensory deprivation tank.
Yeah.
But anytime you see her interacting with anyone, before she takes the mantle, before she becomes herself through circumstances, there's tears, there's crying, there's despondence. She can't exist in the world under the circumstances.
But the way she gets her little piece of the world, it would be very difficult to continue living if you weren't somehow connected with reality.
There has to be some nuance.
So Detective Smith comes and sees her and has these difficult cases that she can't quite solve, right? And Nancy is like basically
there's a smattering of that. And so the genius that people see in Detective Smith, some of that comes from Nancy.
Exactly.
But Nancy doesn't come into her own until episode 1, where Detective Smith is kidnapped. Oh. Now, Detective Smith's colleagues, she doesn't talk about Nancy. She doesn't talk about the reason that she's unable to fully commit to her job.
They don't know why.
They don't know about this.
Distracted and
maybe
aloof.
she mentions her sister sometimes.
They probably
but
think
they don't
she's...
understand the situation.
Hold on. Here's a little dynamic for the show, just a little detail. Because her time's always being sucked away by her sister Nancy, the invalid who's trapped and all that stuff. They think she's just kind of a little bit aloof. The other
they might even think she's a little lazy because she doesn't put in the hours. I
like it better if the fellas that she works with are just like, they're a little bit intimidated. She's aloof. She's unattainable. She's always busy. She's cool.
She's a romantic,
they think she's
cold person. Cold fish, that's maybe not great.
But she's like a female James Dean. How about that?
Okay,
that's what I'm imagining.
But she's cool. Also loveless, because the emotional part of her,
she's unattainable.
She's unattainable.
Completely
unattainable. Probably gorgeous.
Of course, she's gorgeous.
She's on TV. She's gorgeous.
Yeah, she's very gorgeous. So there's a lot of things going on there. That you can have that tension at the workplace. They're really into her, but then she goes missing. And so
she goes missing because she's working on a high-profile case, and she made some real inroads into it, based on consulting with her sister, who can synthesize information together in a way that it boggles the mind.
So does she have to leave her apartment in order to solve this case?
Eventually, but the crux of the first episode is that the audience also doesn't know about the sister.
Holy shit.
Until they start to investigate the disappearance, and they go to her condo, and they find the sister in a sensory deprivation tank, half starved, can't even use the phone to call for food.
Because she hasn't been there for a few days, right?
And she's almost on the verge of death.
Wow.
But in talking with her, when they can calm her down, I'm not sure. What would the handlers of this person be? The people who come there have to be able to soothe her into talking about this. But at first, it's just panic. It's screaming. It's get out.
Okay.
It's like, I need to be in my tank.
I've got a way to introduce another character from the station. This is going to be the social worker. So because she's slipping on her work, she's only getting away with it because she's gorgeous and they think she's cool. So they assign a social worker to be like, hey, what's up? How come you're not really pulling your weight? Your reports are all missing T's and you're not crossing your T's. So they...
where's the work? Where's the legwork that brought you from this to this? Mm-hmm. This doesn't make any sense. You're not keeping track of things. What they don't know is that amazing leaps of logic and intuition have led her from this to this. And the detective work in between is going to be missing. And they're going to find that really sloppy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think you're right, but I think you can address.
So there's a social worker.
You can address all that in episode 1, though. That she's. How about it starts the first scene? She's talking. She wants to get a warrant to arrest somebody. Like maybe this big case has been cracked by her secret sister that we don't know about. Mm-hmm. So we start the show. She's ready to go and make the arrest, but no one can really follow her logic.
And she's not great at explaining it because she wasn't the one who came to the logical conclusion. In some ways.
Yeah.
She gets it, but she can't go through all the steps.
It's more than a gut feeling, though, and they get that, but they're just we can't give you no warrants. Your paperwork sucks lately. The last couple of arrests you made were all bunk. We can't.
And you're so methodical normally.
Yeah, what's going on with you?
You're a woman of contradiction.
We're gonna set you up with social worker, and just to switch it up, the social worker shouldn't be a woman. Let's make it like a handsome fellow who's really sensitive, like a dreamboat.
A potential will they, won't they?
There you go. Yeah, exactly. And so he can be working with, eventually when they find the sister, they gets assigned because this is like a neglected person, right? But he starts to put it all together. He's not an idiot either, right? He's like, oh my God, this explains everything. She's been taking care of her.
The case notes are scattered all over the place, but they know that she's got something to do with this.
But here now you have a little extra tension because the sister, the Nancy, is so sensitive that she can sense that this fella who's been working with her sister at the station, he's got a little thing for her, and she locks into it right away. And it's like, oh my God, you like my sister, don't you? Oh my God.
Yeah, she would deliver like that, wouldn't she? Except when she's on the case. But normally she's just talking. She's talking a little bit like this.
Yeah.
Also physically, because this is television, and you need to not have to put on burn makeup for every episode. So what she likes to be in is kind of a onesie that covers her from forehead to fingers to toes, and it's padded, and that's what she looks like.
She looks like a stuffed...
Because the burns are underneath there, and you can't do that makeup in every episode anyway. But also, she likes to keep everything covered. Yeah. Because that's part of her, that's part of her metaphor, her personality. Anyway, sorry, I wanted to interject that because I want the theater of the mind to be showing this while you're talking about it.
Right. Okay, so...
I think of it more like it looks like a jumpsuit, Running Man style jumpsuit.
Right. That's like her pajamas. She hangs around at home in her pajamas.
The
all
only
day,
time she ever takes off her clothes is when she gets in that deprivation tank, and that's when she does that. That's when you get these character moments of like, oh my God, the scarring. But
that's also where she does her best thinking, though.
Well, that she has to go in there sometimes. Yeah. She gets overwhelmed easily.
Yeah. But she comes out of there with answers, right? No matter what's happening in the show, she gets out of the bath and she's like...
It could be like the Incredible Hulk transformation where you record them all in advance. And then you don't have to do the makeup over and over. You just have 10 instances of her getting in there for different moods. Sometimes it's kind of excited and sometimes it's slow and painful. And, you film those so that you can do the makeup all...
In one day.
You don't show her face because maybe her features change as the show goes on. Because it's going to be on for years.
That's an
important... A show of this quality will be on for 8 to 10 years.
That's an important detail because we're talking about a CBC show and we want to keep those budgets down, right?
And it's CBC. You can show some cleavage in those scenes. Oh, you know what? She's all burned. Let's not worry about whether she's
cleavage.
Sexy or not.
Yeah.
Maybe she's got a perfect butt.
Yeah, that'll get that CBC.
Anyway,
locked.
you were talking about the dynamic with the social worker, and I want to explore this.
Yeah, well, I think the social worker is interested in finding the detective. I think
let's get into the plot of episode 1. These details, they're wonderful. And they're spice. But the actual plot of the thing is of course, they realize that she's the only one who can solve the disappearance of her sister.
Yeah, so we got to talk about what kind of case she was landing on. Who would kidnap someone to avoid prison? That's not
whatever
everybody.
Whatever it was she solved. Yeah. She solves a thing with these brilliant leaps in logic, but it introduces her into a world that's pretty dangerous. Even if you're a cop, these people are going to get you. Mm-hmm. There'll be some reason why they don't immediately kill her, but you'd have to just take that as a given.
It's always good. There's some tried and tested and true things like I'm thinking the Picton farm. There's always like a weird farm where they like to kill people. Maybe there's a cult. Maybe
you keep this small. Maybe this is Silence of the Lambs style.
Yeah,
where it's like, well, this person that she uncovered and was about to arrest, he's enacting the same strange psychotic thing on her.
And then you got a clock ticking, right? And so then
because this is how long he keeps them.
Yeah. It's like ritualistic almost to a T. Maybe the one in the Nancy in the tank there knows all this and has already helped. Because she helped her sister discover who the real killer was for all these murders, whatever they are, they're horrific. she knows she's already had the horrific dreams about what they're doing to these people in the 30 days leading up. And so maybe there's a maiming process that's happening on her sister. She's already a burn victim. And maybe there's something horrible happening to her sister every day. A new little piece of her is being mutilated. Holy shit.
We're gonna return to that. There's gonna be a flashback in the episode, like a recurring flashback where you're learning about the dynamic of these sisters.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna spoil it for everyone. The reason she's so burned is because she was saving her sister. You're setting up the reason that this sister is thwarting her entire life to take care of this genius sister and wants to do it personally because the reason she's like that, it's her fault.
Oh my God.
She might have even done something stupid and needed saving. It might not even have been like it would be an accident, of course, but it's she blames herself for it.
Oh, I like it. Okay, I like that for many reasons.
Anyway, but that's going to be introduced in some flashbacks that come throughout the entire episode until at the end you kind of do the reveal where it's like you show kind of the point where it's like, oh, it was her fault.
Yes. Oh my God. You know why this is good?
That's why she doesn't deserve love.
They're going to, well, yeah, she's going to have a breakdown. Like, no, you're right. I had the same idea. So right in the middle of the show, at the apex of the show, when the cute, sensitive social worker guy and her are talking, she's going to let slide that she somehow left out some crucial piece of information about the killer, and she sent her sister on a death run to go like confront him.
Because she didn't realize that there's a Site A and a Site B.
There you go.
And they solved what Site A was, and that's where most of them went on. But there's a Site B, and this killer is ready and able to move to Site B for his rituals. And then probably the mystery she has to solve is figuring out this Site B. But she can't do this remotely. They have to bring her out and about. She has to talk to people because the information she can put together is so much quicker and cleaner if she's absorbed. She's basically an empath. She's not metaphysical, but she's an empath. And when she's talking to a person, she just instinctively picks up on micro expressions that tell her what direction to
it's not conscious.
to go in. It's probably not conscious, but she's no fool. She's aware of it.
Yeah,
she knows that if she has a chance, she has to come out of her comfort zone in order to do this. Okay. But what she learns during this is that it's the most rewarding thing she's ever done, and she has to do it in small doses, but she needs to be involved in this world. But anyway, yeah, I mean,
like that.
The plot beats are, of course, they go and interview some of the people involved. It's weird. You're seeing like, why is this person like this? You're getting the outsider's view on her kind of a few times, and you're seeing how much trouble she has existing in the world. She's having emotional breaks and breakdowns. She really needs to be managed, but you're getting that as an audience. You're getting it through the eyes of the people she's interviewing, because she has to do A, B, and C before they get the information they need for her to make the logic leap. Mm-hmm. And then you get an action sequence at the end. Mm-hmm. Because they go to Site B with 20 minutes to spare.
Mm-hmm. This could be a movie, actually. This has movie vibes. It could be a
movie.
It could be.
We weren't trying to do a movie at the time.
Yeah, I know, but I'm thinking,
it could be a movie series.
If you have to do 10 stories in between the overarching, so you got the overarching main story.
No, I think it's a 45-minute episode. I think
really?
You go fast.
So this whole thing with the farmer and everything. Oh, I was under the impression like the detective is missing during the entire season.
I think you probably need something that leads you through the season as well. Mm-hmm. But I think the thing where she's doing interviews and she's putting this stuff together and she's being brought out into the world the first time. If you're doing this as a movie, it's one thing. If you're doing this as a TV show, you need to get the meat on the plate.
How about
this? You need people to understand what they're in for.
I agree. But it could be the overarching story that they're trying to find this missing sister, and maybe they find her before the end of the season. Maybe they find her in episode 8, and then
I think you need the sister.
I said there's a sister. You're talking like the detective.
Yeah, I think you want to. Well, tell me what your thought is.
Well, I'm just picturing a scenario where she's slowly having little pieces of her cut off and barbecued by this madman or something. And
that's if you're doing a movie, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But then if they have to solve little mysteries in between to figure out the bigger story, Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so here's, if you flesh out the killer side, and there's one big killer, but like, what if the killer always kills with the help of someone else? And so they have to solve a bunch of little, like, this would be the series. Let's say a mini series, like 5-6 shows. That's
Okay.
So they have to solve these 5 or 6 smaller killings by finding his accomplice. Like, okay, here we go. Here's how you tie it into what's happening in mainstream media right now. So there's like, do you remember the FBI released that warning like a year ago, 6 months ago, that there was a satanic cult that was going on Discord and convincing children to commit suicide?
I think I remember this, but I don't remember any details. That's crazy.
So so everybody hates that idea. Nobody knows who to focus their anger on. Mm-hmm. This killer is that guy. You know what I mean? Like it's not a satanic cult, but imagine another guy who's just like a guy who goes onto children's servers and convinces children to commit horrific murders on his behalf. And they have to so
what they solve is the first person who's working under this larger person.
Yes.
So you're introducing the series in the first episode.
Yeah. So then you have a choice. So then you could have the detective be kind of kidnapped by a kid, and then they find him at the end of episode 1, and they save the sister, and then all of 3 of them perhaps go and try to solve the rest of the mysteries. And then
that's why there's a site B. It's not the same killer.
Mm-hmm, exactly. There's site A, B, C, D, E. There's going to be 5.
There's different people.
Yeah.
And that's the element she didn't have, because they were trying to solve the murders of this one particular person.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not, but maybe they are kids. But maybe they're not kids.
The reason why they're kids is because there's a social worker involved who's super sensitive, and he's always like, but you guys got to understand, these kids come from homes that are just, and they're like, they don't want to arrest these kids. They want to get the bad guy. Do you know what I mean? He wants to save the kids. They want to just get the bad guy.
Yeah.
Then that
dynamic is how you bring the social worker more into the main team.
Yeah.
Because there's always kids to deal with.
No, like and it's a horrific show. Like, people are going to watch it and hate that this is happening, that kids are being manipulated to the point of murdering people.
This sounds more like British miniseries now, eh?
Yeah, or HBO.
Yeah, for sure.
HBO, if you're listening.
But we are recording this and mailing a copy of it to ourselves.
Every episode has been transcribed
but
and
let's
mailed.
focus back to episode 1 here.
Okay.
Because I think the mystery is solved is just person 1 of who knows how many people, and then you get a glimpse at the larger mystery of like, oh, there's like a puppet master involved.
Yeah.
It's a little trite, but it's trite for a reason, because it's friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
You want a larger mystery that ties into the individual mysteries that you're solving. So in the individual episodes, you're always getting a little bit of the larger mystery, but you're also getting a crime solved every time.
What links all these kids together? The killer always wants proof that they're like, they don't just start off murdering people. First, they got to kidnap them. Mm-hmm. Then they have to mutilate them. And that's the step in between kidnapping and the murder. And that's how you know about how much time you have.
And that's how you get into his cult.
Because it takes about 7 days to send a package in the mail. And so he gets the finger, and he's like, okay, I guess you're ready to go to phase 2, like we talked about. So if you want, there's going to be supplies waiting. I'm going to mail you some supplies because I like my deaths to be done in a certain way, and I like them videotaped. So you're going to videotape it. You're going to follow the instructions in my package, in my kill package.
Okay. End of the first episode.
Yeah.
They get back the sister.
Yeah.
She's mutilated, not so bad that she can't continue to be a detective.
Yeah.
But she's mutilated in a way that she's
it's
ruinous,
her trigger finger.
Ruinous for her. Well, maybe even worse than that. Who knows? If this is mini-series, we don't have to worry about continuity as much. Right? Okay?
Yeah.
But she's mutilated in a way that's devastating to her. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you get the scene between the two of them where the emotionally crippled sister from the terrible mutilations she suffered at the hands of fire, they get to have a moment together where it's like, oh, now we kind of understand each other in a way we didn't before, and you get the emotional empath sister for the first time reaching outward in a way to touch someone and like emotionally
to comfort
and what
her.
she says,
yes.
it's very simple, because she's a strange stoic person when she's not having fits, right? And she's like, "You're gonna be okay because I was okay. I'm gonna look after you." And then
right? the way you said that, I have a feeling I know what her mutilation should be. Maybe it's something like how about we start the whole series? It's not her getting a warrant. She's singing in a choir because that's how she finds inner peace because her life is so complex.
I see where you're going. Please get there. Get there. I love it.
And
It's her only outlet. She's so pent up.
And the killer knows. The killer does the research, and the mutilations are always whatever matters most to that person. And it's her voice. And so when she's talking to her sister now, she has this fucked up voice.
If you're making this a movie or a miniseries that's movie-like,
I'm sorry that I understand what it feels like to be burned now.
But what you have is toward the beginning, before the kidnapping, one of her outlets is to go and play piano and sing. And she plays beautifully, and she sings like an angel, and she does it in front of some people, and it's all she has.
Yeah.
And the end of the episode is her just playing piano.
Oh.
And you miss the voice.
Oh.
The beautiful voice is gone as part of the mutilation.
Nice. Well, they could get her fingers too.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe you
that
go into
too
this,
much?
maybe you don't. They could get her fingers too, but I feel like you got to make sure she can still work as a detective.
Maybe just a few fingers are left. Like when they save her, they were in the middle of removing them one at a time, and she's only got 3 or 4. Like Django Reinhardt.
Well,
so she can still play piano, but it's not great.
So these mutilations could be symbolic, and they could all be the same, right?
Sure. Yeah.
First, you take the voice, and then you take the sight, or maybe you put sight last because you want her to be able to see.
Yeah.
It's complicated. You can't have a burn victim and a blind person, and it's like you got to make sure she's pretty functional if you want to move the story along. Unless you get really thinking about it. And maybe you could make it perfect.
Okay, yeah.
But first you take this, and then you take this, and then you take this.
Yeah.
And it's like by the time they catch her, she hasn't gotten her eyes taken out, but she's you take their humanity by taking their thumbs, because that's what makes people. And maybe she can get by as a detective without her thumbs.
But can she play piano without her thumbs?
She can't play piano.
She can. Maybe there's enough of a stub she can still hold her pistol.
Unless you don't have them take her thumbs. I thought you were trying to say that they're going to take the piano.
I like the idea that they break in and they just took one of thumbers or a couple fingers on the left hand. Not the end of the world. You know what I mean?
So maybe we can remove the voice from this altogether. Because this stoic person singing is a little,
maybe she's just a piano player. Just a piano player.
Obviously the detective who plays music, but maybe she's a beautiful piano player, and the last scene you get is of her trying to play piano with like 3 fucking fingers,
and crying, of course, because it's
you don't show her crying. She's stoic. She's stoic. The audience cries.
Okay, but
when a person cries easily, the audience. Where did I hear this? The audience doesn't cry along with them. It's when a person doesn't cry, that's when the audience cries.
She's crying on the inside. But I mean, even a stoic person is going to mourn the loss of their best piano playing fingers. Like,
okay,
do you know what I mean?
But I'm saying she should still remain a stoic person. Maybe you get that. Maybe you get that single tear. That single tear.
Could do a single tear, but you're right. The audience will cry plenty for everyone else.
But she needs to be tough, because then when the tough person cries. That's when people cry.
Okay,
this other lady's going to be crying all the time.
You got the bookends.
And there's the contrast, too, is that she freaks out and cries and screams. But the sister,
she's playing
you just
piano.
Get a single rolling tear.
No tear. You're right. She's stoic. She's playing the piano poorly, really poorly, but she's just going to practice and practice until it's okay.
Because she's methodical.
But the sister, you flash, while she's playing, the sister's bawling her eyes out because she cannot stand watching her sister suck so hard.
Okay, you do this in their condo. All she's got in there, the only thing that she has in her life
deprivation
is
tank
a
and
mini
piano.
grand piano, right? And exactly. You have her playing the piano. She's playing badly, and you've got it focused on her, and you can see the look on her face, and it's determination.
And as the series progresses, that same song gets better.
She gets good at playing the piano.
By the end, it's good
6
again.
Fingers, she becomes like Django Reinhardt.
Exactly.
Did we already mention him?
We mentioned Django, yeah.
And Django wasn't the one who lost his fingers.
Yeah. He's 2 fingers. They got burned off.
Matter. Yeah. But you do the slow crawl to the other room where you just see. She's just a mess. She's in her deprivation tank, and she can just hear the piano, and she can't. You show her face. She's already sad, but you show her face as a note gets missed, and she just loses it, and that's like your last scene.
Beautiful. So that book ends it nicely.
Episode 1.
We start with her at the beginning playing in a club, and this ties into her being the James Dean of female detectives too, right? She's fucking cool. She's stoic as hell. That's a necessity. You have to be cool, right? In some degree. And then the people, so everyone at work is like fawning over her and stuff. She's unattainable and she's fucking cool. And then she gets her fingers chopped and there's people privately pitying her at work and stuff. And she's just like having none of it. She's like, whatever. In 6 months, I'll be fucking amazing on that piano again. So I like this character a lot now.
Can we make these people college age kids so that she can shoot them? Because if you think about it, like, you know, she's in a position where it's like, am I even going to be able to be a cop anymore?
Yeah.
But she doesn't need all of her fucking fingers to shoot this guy.
No,
anyway, we'll talk about that later. The kids thing is compelling
3.
too. Yeah. You left too many fingers. Blam!
Oh, man.
And that's why it takes so long, because it's all about fingers. It's 1 finger a day for 10 days, and that's why they know what time they have left.
Holy fuck. That's good. I like that.
Shh. This is Mind Over Matter. Scene: The Secret Burden. Interior, apartment condo, afternoon. The camera pans across the condo, capturing the sparsely decorated Spartan interior. There is on the floor a disorder of unfinished paperwork and piles here and there. Each is obviously a different case taken from the office. There are notes pinned to the wall, maps, pins, photographs. Dust hangs in the air, caught under the arch of the lamp standing alone near a baby grand piano to the right. In the very center is a large cylindrical tank. It's laying horizontal to the ground, surrounded by some basic medical supplies, an IV dripper, a small stainless steel rolling table with unused bandages, tape and gauze and scissors. Dane adjusts his scarf nervously.
Did you expect to find any of this?
Not looking at Dane. I can't explain any of this. Dane leafs through the case files, while Alex moves cautiously towards the tank in the center of the room. No, Dane, don't touch anything.
Do you hear that?
There is a moment of silence. What?
It sounds like a whimper. There's someone in here.
Alex is fixed on the contraption, his face increasingly serious, fixated on it. Who are you? What's your name? Dane moves in behind Alex, who is standing over the tank, and wipes the dust from the glass.
How long have you been in there?
The two of them work to open the tank together. It hinges open to one side. The camera reveals over the shoulder of Alex a woman inside the tank. Where's Detective Hart? Dana Hart. This is her apartment. We're looking for Detective Hart. Do you know where she is?
Give her a minute. Help me move her.
She's covered head to toe in burns and is so weak she struggles to hold her own head up.
There. Get her a glass of water.
Alex returns quickly with a glass of water and dribbles a few drops across the woman's lips. There. Drink that. Is that better? She's just barely aware of them, but is making an effort to open her eyes and connect with them while muttering dry, wheezing nothings.
Yes. Yes, Dana. We're looking for Dana. Where is she?
She's just started to cry. Just as she does, she lets out a surprising and disturbingly loud cry of pain. Cut between close-ups of each of their eyes as they take in and are horrified by what they see.
How long have you...
each becoming increasingly concerned for their missing colleague.
Wrong place? What does that mean? What does that mean, the wrong place? We're trying to find her.
Dane gestures for Alex to remain quiet. Oh, take your time. Have a little more water, but not too much. The water revives the woman. The light returns to her eyes. Dana's your sister, isn't she? She takes care of you, right? Is that right?
We're worried. Your sister is in trouble. Can you help us find her?
Nancy takes in a deep breath. They wait anxiously.
Well, thanks for listening to our first episode. I hope you'll try to find us on social media. We're known as jentnerparke on Blue Sky and X, Pinterest, Tumblr. On Discord, we also have a server called the Writing Club, and I encourage you to visit there. It's a great place to just discuss and talk about ideas and writing. And we also have a merch page set up, tppp.printify.me, where you can buy some interesting artifacts from today's episode. Coffee mugs, mouse pads, mystery clue notebooks, even some t-shirts. And these items will only be for sale until the next episode drops, so if you see something you like, you should probably get it, because it won't be there for long. It's a pop-up shop, the pre-production podcast Popup, Purchase, Plaza, and Paraphernalia Parlor. If you have some ideas that you'd like to share with us for a future episode, you'd like to perhaps see an idea of yours fleshed out and made real, at least in the way we make them real, maybe turned into a miniature radio play, by all means, contact us on any of the aforementioned platforms, or email us directly at jentnerparke@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to reply. That's it for now. Bye.